Experience, knowledge, skills, abilities, depth, and trust. The industries America thrives on depend on exact wire EDM. We've got the solutions for your design. Let us be an extension of your company. There are three different types of electrical discharge machining, or EDM. This is an advanced video about the two types exact wire EDM specializes in: wire EDM and small hole EDM. At Exact Wire EDM, we know a lot about wire and small hole EDM because that's all we do. We've been providing solutions and precision parts to customers at other wire EDM shops for more than a quarter of a century from our advanced technology locations in Wisconsin and Illinois. As you know, wire EDM uses an electrically charged hair-thin wire to machine features or components out of conductive workpieces. The wire, fed continuously from a spool, is the electrode, while the workpiece is grounded to the machine table or fixture. Because the wire follows a CAD or CNC programmed path through the conductive part, and because the wire is so thin, typically from 3 to 12 thousandths of an inch, wire EDM is amazingly precise, with a unique ability to machine precise, complex shapes. Because the spark erodes the material, the wire and the part do not touch, eliminating tool wear and allowing material of any hardness to be cut. Denser materials and materials with a higher melting point take longer, but any conductive material can be cut, such as polycrystalline diamond, tungsten, and carbide. Controlling the spark's power and frequency allows more or less material to be removed. The process is much like a carpenter quickly roughing a shape with a saw, then slowly refining it with various grades of sandpaper. Wire EDM specialists utilize wire passes called roughing and skimming. Roughing removes more material because it cuts aggressively at higher power with larger, hotter sparks. Skimming removes less material. Skimming uses lower power to produce more sparks that are smaller and cooler, especially important for delicate detail or sensitive material. Less flushing pressure on the wire makes the cut even more accurate. Two types of skimming path are used as power is lowered. The first type of skimming makes crisper, more accurately defined shapes with tighter tolerances and improved accuracy of the finished geometry. The second type of skimming removes smaller and smaller particles, polishing the piece. As with finer and finer sandpaper on wood, more skim passes at progressively lower power can achieve smoother and smoother finishes. In reality, rough cutting with wire EDM isn't all that rough. In fact, with a precision of 1/1000th of an inch, rough cutting is quite precise and sufficient for most wire EDM applications. When ultra-precision is needed, skimming can bring parts to within 1/10,000th of an inch. Parts such as this sliding Exact Wire EDM logo require this type of precision and surface finishing. Parts that might be used for, say, heat dissipation do just fine at rough cut tolerances. Now, whether roughing or skimming, the extremely high temperatures involved require constant cooling and flushing of removed particles. For that, a liquid dielectric is used, deionized water. Flushing ahead of the wire keeps the wire from bogging down. A buildup of debris would short-circuit the wire, so it also keeps the cutting precise. Flushing is so critical, we consider three of the most important aspects of our process at Exact Wire EDM to be flushing, flushing, and flushing. Adding to the versatility of wire EDM from Exact is our ability to angle the wire by up to 30 degrees to accomplish 4-axis machining. This allows us to vary the shape of the part from end to end, such as in this food service nozzle, or to provide critical tapers for stamping dies and molds. Tapers can also vary around the contour, as in these complex and highly detailed changing state shapes. Exact Wire EDM can machine any material, as long as it's electrically conductive. Hardness means nothing. We regularly cut conductive materials of all hardness, from stainless and tool steels through polycrystalline diamond. Nor does hardness slow the wire EDM process, because the tool and the part never meet. The spark does the work. How the wire EDM process is used in rough and skim cutting impacts the surface finishes that are achieved. The process allows us to rough cut to 125 microinches RMS. 5 to 10 microinches RMS can be achieved after about 5 skim passes. Not surprisingly, the material also affects the finish. Wire EDM finishes are different from milled or ground finishes. They range from smooth, matte-like, to highly polished, reflective finishes. Porous materials, such as aluminum, work well for rough finishes, which can be advantageous to heat dissipation. Denser materials, such as tungsten carbide, can achieve an extremely smooth finish. Wire EDM is used when extremely demanding tolerances are desired, as tight as 1/10,000th of an inch. Exact regularly achieves tolerances so accurate that sliding pieces such as these are considered a light press fit. Wire EDM is great for material conservation as well. With no tool-to-part contact and a constantly moving wire, the process is the equivalent of having a fresh tool every moment. The ability of wire EDM to create unique shapes also helps conserve material. Cutting identical parts in stacks of up to 100 at a time, a technique not possible with other processes, creates minimal waste as well as being highly efficient. Chaining or nesting parts also conserves material and further increases the cost competitiveness of wire EDM. These techniques are especially great for very small parts, and all of these techniques allow one operator to man several machines simultaneously. Wire EDM from Exact also has other advantages. Low work holding force and zero cutting force allow machining of extremely delicate parts. No tool wear also means no downtime changing tools and no change in tolerances as the tool works. Make single, long, continuous cuts with no fear of a change in accuracy. The ability to cut small corner radii and deep, narrow grooves and detail are also advantageous, as is burr-free cutting. Wire EDM is the perfect technology to meet trends towards smaller parts and tighter tolerances. Wire EDM can also be more economical, with its unique ability to reduce manufacturing steps by creating multiple shapes with a single cutting pass. This part began as a rod, yet all 8 cavities were made with a single, uninterrupted cut. Wire EDM is well suited for making precision molds and dies, especially thermoform trim dies that produce these parts, where close tolerances are required for thin gauge plastics. Small hole EDM uses a pipe electrode rather than a wire for the tool. The pipe electrode works like a drill bit with some important differences. Because no cutting forces are involved, the angle of entry is unaffected. No tool deflection takes place. Entry is precise. The pipe electrode carries coolant to the cutting point as it works. The pipe electrode also rotates, keeping it on location with greater accuracy. Most of the advantages of wire EDM also apply to small hole EDM with some distinctions. Small hole uses only a single pass. There are no skimming or finishing passes. Small hole tolerances can be held to 1 to 2/1000ths. Small hole EDM is excellent for machining coolant holes and wire start holes for tiny, precisely cut openings. For more information on wire EDM and small hole EDM, call or click the experts, Exact Wire EDM. Feel free to send us your drawings and your biggest challenges. We have a 25-year history of clients who trust us with their most valuable intellectual property and trade secrets. Everything you tell us is held in strict confidence, regardless of whether it ultimately leads to a business relationship. Our sole business is creating solutions through wire EDM and small hole EDM. We're Exact Wire EDM. Let us be an extension of your company.